Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs, continuing Tomose's route. And we just had an argument in the hallway, and he's being dramatic and bitchy. I dig it. I like the dramatic, bitchy childhood friend versus the, overprotective, treating us like we're glass kind. So, we're doing okay here. Not mad about it. Seems fine so far. So, when I got back to my room, I decided to continue watching the show I'd gotten from the library. My hand seemed to move on its own, and I started it reflexively. Couldn't really think about anything, though. Maybe I took it too far. I could sense that a rift between Tomose and me was widening. From what I told him earlier, it made sense for him to think I was rejecting his confession and suggestion. There was no way Tomose wouldn't feel hurt after hearing that. I assumed that Tomose would want to go back to our world. Just as bad. I had every intention of thinking about it, but I got impulsive and rejected him. I knew that it was wrong of me to do that, but I also felt that Tomose deserved some of the blame. What if Tomose stops talking to me if I keep on rejecting him? He might. I mean, that's like a valid possibility. We can't just go back to the way things were, even if we went back home. I rejected him. We won't walk to and from school anymore, and we won't have idle conversation either. I can't imagine that. I don't want Tomose to leave me. We've always been together. Been that way since we were small. There's just no way that I can accept a sudden change like that. I just can't accept Tomose as he is right now. There's something wrong with him. Something about him feels different. It wasn't like this in the past. It was all I could think about while mindlessly watching the TV show. At the very least, when we watched this together, Tomose was completely different. The hero of the story was surrounded by warriors and was giving a speech on screen. The story was about to reach its climax, and despite being cornered, he spoke clearly. "Everything will be fine as long as you're safe. I have no regrets no matter what anyone says. I'm happy that I was here." The enemy drew closer and his allies were injured. However, he stepped forward to protect everyone. He did it even though his friends tried to stop him. "Come what may, even if we are separated, I want to be the hero." He said the same thing. Tomose said that he wanted to be the hero. He wanted to be an actor on the side of justice. He said he would become that hero. Whenever I would cry, he would run to my aid. He said he would be that kind of hero. When I heard that, I decided to support Tomose's dream. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I know Tomose's the first route, so there's no way they're going to be like, by the way, he's the producer. But I'm just saying, I'm just going to keep reiterating, it would have been very funny and just very, amazing if the game, revealed you as the producer. But again, I had them take my memories so I wouldn't remember. You know what I mean? She's a little too dry. I don't think she could be that maniacal. But they could have made Tomose the fucking producer. Because, Tomose being no, I created this whole world so I could just be with you. That'd be fucking amazing. But then it would be very weird because you'd be like, why can't I do Tomose's route right away? Because, he seems like the safest fucking bet. But just feel like the safest bet, but he's really not. Oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Or nothing kind of comes out in Tomose's route, nothing really happens, there's no twist. And you're like, oh, alright. So you do this one first, you do all the other ones, and at the end, it's actually really was Tomose all along. Haiji is just Tomose in a mask. Come on, Scooby Gang, let's unmask this kid. Tomose. Maybe he's the director. You don't know. Have we ever seen Tomose and the director in the same room before? Yes, when we got kidnapped. But and probably at other points. But when I heard that, I decided to support Tomose's dream. His dream of becoming an actor. But Tomose's way of thinking was the complete opposite. Tomose's only thinking about me. He's suspicious of everyone else. As he should be. Right now, Tomose doesn't care about being a well-liked hero. I tried to endure the pain I was feeling as I stopped the video. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. The following day, I finished up lunch and sat in front of the TV. A Akase and Futami, I don't know why Futami came out weird. Futami were in the living room after finishing their lunch, but I didn't feel like talking to them. I just watched the show on the screen. Then I heard an alarm. Stream status. Drama starts in 3 minutes. Stream content. Defender of Justice, Episode 7. Genre. Action drama. Cast. Saikawa. Kyoya Akase. Matsumiya. Yeah, Matsumiya? Yeah. Spacey Sena. Nagamo. Mizuki Iochi. We've done this one before. Yeah. We've obviously, like... Another drama. Well, it wasn't always the same. There were multiple dramas a day, so it couldn't be helped. My melancholy deepened after being called to act in that moment. Things between Tomose and me wouldn't be so complicated without the Otherworld stream. Or maybe I'm just being naive, and Tomose wouldn't see it that way. But it would be just as complicated because he was about to confess his feelings before he got kidnapped, so. If only I hadn't kissed Tomose. I can't help but think about it. You didn't kiss him, he kissed you. And again, this is a weird thing. If only I hadn't kissed him, then he wouldn't, have already been in love with you before that? Took the opportunity to kiss you because that's what the script called for, but also, hey, why not? Because he wanted to? You know what I mean? Like, why are we acting like we did it? Or like, the kiss was the problem? I mean, the kiss was a problem in the fact of, like, we didn't want to do it and we were forced to, but the kiss is not what started this. You know what I mean? I looked at my bangle and Akase called to me because I was nearby. Dana, looks like we're together this time. You seem kinda out of it. You alright? Yeah, if you're with me here, I'm guessing it'll end quickly. Yeah, let's get this over with and get those points. It's great to see how motivated you are. Good luck to the both of you. Yep. As usual, the scenery around us changed instantly. I love seeing Iochi in a fucking suit. Do you think Iochi wears a suit to work? Do you think this is how Iochi dresses when they go to work? I love it. It's a continuation of the previous episode. Let's do this. You're the villain. It's weird for you to say that. Come on now. My defeat is set in stone. So, I hope you'll go easy on me. I'm gonna have to kick you hard. Is that okay? If possible, I'd appreciate it if you'd hold back a little bit. They were enemies in the drama, but they had a friendly conversation. My role was that of Iochi's hostage. The hero would defeat the villain and save me. The story was simple, but there'd be one difficult scene. I memorized the script the best I could before the drama started. I mean, they don't give you time to really memorize the scripts, you know what I mean? You sure are persistent. Perhaps you're not very fitting for Raul, I suppose. I don't know if we're supposed to say R-A-A-L. Or Raul. Raul? Raul? I don't know. Dude, I don't know. Iochi began the act and looked down at Akase from the second floor. I was placed in handcuffs and played the shaking hostage standing close by. You might be right, but I don't have a choice. I can't just abandon someone if they've been kidnapped in front of me. I see. So the first move was already a failure. Please help! I interrupted their conversation and called out weakly. It was difficult to act afraid. Please help? Okay, it's okay. Don't worry. Hey, Nagamo! In the end, she has nothing to do with Keita Tanabe. Keita Tanabe. So let her go. If you let her go, I'll negotiate with headquarters for you. Oh, what a tempting proposition. And then let's have you do that. The difficult part was coming up next. Iochi would push me down and I'd fall to the first floor upside down while handcuffed. It's a dangerous scene, so Iochi whispered to me right before pushing me. Here goes. I felt a strong push on my back as I fell from the second floor of the warehouse. People who are truly fearful fall completely silent, and I plummeted slow. Wait, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm sorry. God, I can't read my brain. People who are truly fearful fall completely silent, and I plummeted silently toward the floor. Ugh. Right before I hit the ground, Akase ran over, rolled, and caught me. No! Well, I was on the second floor. The platform was part of the warehouse, so it wasn't that high up. Neither Akase nor I were hurt. That was a skillful catch! Akase had caught me while rolling to disperse the shock of the impact. It was almost superhuman, and I was surprised. See, okay, this also... Alright, again, knowing what we know now after Futami's route, right? Okay, again, Tomose's route's supposed to be first. Let's say Iochi's route second. Okay. Now, doing Tomose's route, and again, seeing the same thing we saw in Futami's route, Akase and Iochi, like, kind of working together. I know this is a drama, so it could have been anybody. But, like, Akase doing the superhuman roll thing, you're like, who the fuck can do those kind of somersault and shit? That makes me wonder if he really is Iochi's partner. Because, like, the conversation they had in Futami's route, it's more leaning that way. And again, I'm starting to think that Akase should have been then the third route. Because I think it would be better if you did Iochi first, find out he has an accomplice, and then you find out who that person is. You know what I mean? So now I'm starting to think the first three characters would definitely... I mean, obviously we know Tomose. That's not a surprise at this point, right? But then Iochi and Akase. I mean, I guess, again, still Akase could be... But I feel like Akase should be after Iochi. What the hell just happened to my, like, whole entire computer? But anyway. You know what I mean? But, like, the way they're starting to fit... And again, this is what also kind of annoys me about doing it in weird orders. Because the flow of this... In Tomose's route, you saw Ibana's arms. You're seeing this where, like, Akase's doing this, like, rolling and grabbing. And you're like, that's, like, you work for, like, the fucking FBI or some shit. You know what I mean? You're like, that kind of acrobatics is not normal. Right? And maybe you'd be like, interesting. Just doing Tomose's route, not having done anything else. Having done Iochi's and knowing Iochi as a partner, having done Futami's, seeing the way they interacted and that, you're like, okay, all right. Which just goes to there is an order that you should do these because they kind of lead into each other. And again, maybe the first three characters are interchangeable because I didn't mind doing Iochi's route first and then getting Tomose's. I don't think it really ruins anything with the way those two, because, you know, they only tie into each other in that they both kind of reveal similar things, like Iochi, you know, ragging on Ibana a little, Tomose finding Ibana's arm and the thing with him, you know what I mean? And, like, but I don't think, well, then maybe Akase should be in the 4th, 5th, or 6th, you know what I mean? If he's tied in with Iochi. But still, I mean, my point being is that they're kind of individual. The first couple of routes, it seems like, kind of lead into each other. I would bet Iochi is in the first 3. Because it seems like their route kind of ties in a little bit. Here, you're getting a little information. You know there's a partner, and then you find out who it is later. Like, they just kind of build... Even though, again, you switch things up a little, it's not like you spoil the game fully. Futami's absolutely did. Not fully, but spoiled a lot. You know what I mean? And they kind of build into each other. Like, although I'd still think, okay, Futami being in 4, 5, or 6, I still don't think Futami's a route that you should play the 4th one. I really feel like it should have been, I don't know. I just don't like the way they did that. But the way you can see this kind of flowing, you're like, you know, I can kind of see how each one's pointing a little bit at a character, a little more information, so that you shouldn't have done Akase's route before Tomose's. This makes more sense because you're learning a little bit about Akase. And then if he really is Iochi's partner, it would make sense that, you know, then you do Iochi's route and you find out about the partner. Then you do you know what I mean? Like, they kind of sort of lead into each other a little bit where, no, Iochi before Tomose doesn't ruin anything. But Iochi and Tomose before Ibana makes a lot more sense than doing Ibana first, finding out a secret, and then doing these where you're like, yeah, we already know that, though. You know what I mean? You know? So I do think that there is kind of, like, the order does matter a little bit. More than they lead you to believe, and more than they really thought out, because they didn't think it out very well with the fact that you can trip over everything and do things in a weird order, and kind of like, the flow doesn't work that way. They wrote these with a sort of flow in mind. Hey, these 3 characters, fine, but you have to kind of do those before you do these 3, and then you definitely before you do these, but then you could get the producer on the second round. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't really think that out. They did when they were writing it, but not when they were planning out how these were going to tie into each other and how things were going to unlock and how things were, like, how you were going to accidentally. They didn't do a lot of, what if someone's dumb and does XYZ? They were like, I don't ever have, like, and you know what I mean? And you could have very well been that person who XYZ being went down the producer's route second. Well, you know what I mean? So, anyway, Akase had caught me while rolling to disperse the shock of the impact. It was almost superhuman, and I was surprised. Again, makes me start leaning more toward he is Iochi's partner. Because it seems feasible now. Isn't it a bit too early for compliments? What I told him wasn't on script, and Akase grinned at me. He started running while still carrying me. At that moment, I heard a gunshot from above. Iochi had aimed at Akase, who came out to save me, but none of the shots hit their mark. It was all part of the script, but it was still surprising to see Akase's physical abilities. See, but the physical abilities, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like that's, if he's not, I'd be shocked. But, kind of feels like he is. Ow. He was still carrying me as he snuck onto the second floor platform where Iochi was. He then broke through some pipes with a piece of lumber, because he's not in high school anymore, he's graduated, so, like, he's, yeah. Hot steam rose up and debilitated Iochi, who couldn't see through the steam. It all happened in a split second. It's amazing, Akase. You look really cool right now. What was that? Say my name properly. Oh, you're really cool, Saikawa. There it is. It's a bit embarrassing when you say it to my face like that. Thank you so much. For saving me, that is. Don't mention it. Wait right here. I'll go do something about that guy. Akase pointed up when he said that. Then Matsumiya said the following to Saikawa. Please don't get hurt, Saikawa. Without you by my side. Matsumiya was supposed to tell Saikawa her true feelings. That part was in the script. But I heard a notification sound in my ear and I was interrupted. Huh? The display showed a blinking notification. It displayed the word join. Tomose's hopping in! No way! You could just join in the middle? I guess it's like, that's actually, no one's done that before in any of them. Like, I feel like that would have been better. To like, and again, because I feel like it did come up in other ones, wasn't it? Like, I can come in, I can step in and help you or whatever. But you say that and you're thinking, oh, okay, it's like when we're in a scene together, you can help me out, whatever. But not that they can just jump in and join, because they never bring this up in the other routes that we were in. I don't remember that being brought up in Iochi or Futami's. So it being brought up in Tomose's is like, they should have played into that a little more. But again, it's something that like you're kind of being introduced to here in Tomose's route, first one that you should have gone down, you know? So it's shit like this that's like, there really is sort of a set vague order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's group A, B, and C. And you kind of have to do them in a sort of like group like that. Like, you know, you have to do someone, you have to do group A in any order, then you do group B, then you do group C, but they didn't really plan that flow out well. So anyway, I looked around out of surprise and I saw someone already there. At this moment, I like Tomose in like just button-up shirt and t-shirt. Tomose? I was dumbfounded. Did he join because he was worried after he watched me fall? No, because you're about to confess your feelings to another man. Or did he come to ruin the romantic mood? Absolutely. Matsumiya, are you okay? Saikawa, leave Matsumiya to me and get to Nagumo. Yeah, I got it. Are you hurt? I've already called for backup. We only need to catch Nagumo now. Saikawa will surely get it done. Sure. He's acting as an ally who's here to help. I find it amazing how he can improvise on the fly like this. Tomose looked at me with a worried expression. It was like he was a completely different person. His expression fit the scene perfectly, so there was nothing odd about it. It felt like it was in the script all along. But did Tomose join the episode to get in the way of Akase and me acting out that type of scene? When I considered that, his actions didn't feel admirable at all. I like it. I think that's interesting. And it's an interesting, like, like a thing. Uh, It's an interesting thing. I can't think of the word I'm looking for to have them be like, oh, I can just hop in and join a drama to like add to it. You know what I mean? Because you'd think the arcanes will, oh, okay, or you could spice things up. You could sabotage people. Like, yeah. I like that they kind of put that in there, this ability, but I wish they'd use it more. Like, but then again, I mean, we've really only done like, technically should have been the first route, but this should have been the first route, and they're introducing this little thing that you can do. Why can't I think of the word I'm looking for? But but then they never use it again. I mean, we only saw two other routes, so maybe they do use it more. But it's kind of like they should use it more. After the drama, we went back to the living room. We gained more points than expected, so I wanted to take a breather. However, things felt awkward. Good work, Sana. No need to make that face. Was I making a face? You look troubled. Like you didn't know what to do. Yeah. What Bonjo did there was amazing, right? Did you expect that? It was amazing because he's a great actor. Well, as long as it didn't mess up the drama. I'm sorry. Dragging everyone into my problems with Tomose. You are not. Okay. It's this kind of shit too. I'm dragging everyone into. You're not. Tomose is dragging everyone in by showing the fuck up when he shouldn't be there. You're not dragging anyone in. You did not. I should not have kissed Tomose. Tomose kissed you. It was in the script. Okay. Like, I can kind of almost understand that thought process. Like, if it's in the script and you kiss because it's in the script and then you're like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just, like, changed the script and done something differently because whatever. I can understand that. But you, in that instant, were like, wait, what? There's a kiss? I'm not doing this. He kissed you. So you can't really take fault for that, even though it was in the script. I'll give you leeway again if it was like, oh, it's in the script. Okay, I lean over and kiss each other, and then you're like, I probably should have tried to avoid that. Fine. Because in that moment, if you both lean into kiss, you're both responsible for it, right? Whether it's an act or real or whatever. You didn't. You were like, what? He kissed you. You had nothing to do with that. Sure, it was in the script, but you can't be like, I shouldn't have kissed him. You didn't. He kissed you. So let's not blame ourselves for that. I hate that shit. And this, I'm dragging everyone into my fight with Tomose. You did not ask Tomose to join. You did not pop in to the stream that he was in. He did this on his own. You are not responsible for him. Oh my god, this is seriously like a very subtle, like, women are responsible for men's actions bullshit. No! Stop perpetuating that shit. It's fucking psycho when a man actually acts like, or anyone else acts like a woman is responsible for a man's actions. It is worse when a woman thinks she is responsible for a man's actions. You are not responsible for someone else's actions. Yes, sometimes you do things that you're like, huh, if I hadn't said that, maybe this would have been different. Sure, valid. Okay. But like, I was walking down the street and I was assaulted. Maybe I shouldn't have walked down the... No! Understand when you have a hand in something that might have caused a problem with someone, sure. But it is not automatically your motherfucking fault that someone else can't control their shit. And why are we perpetuating that? Why is it making me so angry? But it's like, because at first it's kind of annoying, like, no, let's not be this derpy and stupid about this shit. But then the underlying kind of message here is like, women are supposed to feel responsible because a man does stupid shit? No. Tomose jumps off a bridge. It's like, I shouldn't have pushed him. I wasn't anywhere near that bridge, bitch. Taking the fall for that. If I told him, well, go jump off a bridge, and he did it, maybe I'll feel guilty about saying that. Like, but at the same time, should I really? No, because you should be smart enough not to jump off a bridge just because someone told you to. You know what I mean? Take responsibility for your own actions. Stop taking responsibility for everybody else's. Kind of fucking no. I don't like that the writers keep doing this shit in these games. It's just gross. Stop it. She's being dumb now. I think it annoys me more because, like, just the general sentiment behind it is just gross. But also, she's kind of dumb, and she does stupid shit sometimes, so, like, don't be stupid. Like, so her saying it on the surface level, stop being stupid. It's not your fault he's an idiot. I still like Tomose, but still. Anyway. And don't let it get to you, Cena. I don't mind at all. I'm gonna head out for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna head out for a bit to meet up with the Ochi. Right? Yeah? Yeah. See you later. I didn't have the energy to see Akase off. I was looking down at my hands. Tomose, are you gonna join every single romance drama like that? Why go to such lengths? I'll get you, Tomose. I mean, I feel like it's easy to get. He's in love with you. Being a psycho. I felt disgusted and confused, and then Futami came over to talk to me. It looks like you're having a tough time. Oh, it's more like it's tough for everyone else. Well, it's definitely strange. Banjo wasn't acting like that during this morning's drama. Huh? The morning? I was busy cleaning my room at the time. I was so absorbed with tidying up that I didn't notice the notification for a drama. I was co-starring with Banjo. It was a rare sight. I don't think that he's ever been less motivated. He probably didn't get many points for it. Mose was unmotivated? I don't believe it. And this morning he just walked past you without saying anything. But for some reason he joined in that drama with Akase. I'm not sure I understand the situation. What happened? I hesitated for a while, but I ended up explaining everything to Futami. After hearing me out, Futami took some time to think about it. There's a limit to thinking about it alone, so I was grateful that someone was willing to hear me out. Banjo treating you more like just a childhood friend is kind of an open secret around here. Huh? Really? Girl, don't be stupid. It's obvious. You were the weird one for not noticing. I appreciate you saying weird, but Futami, I think what you mean is you're the idiot. Like, how dumb can you be? Come on. I mean, to be fair, I'll be fair to where if someone was in love with me, I also would be stupid and not notice. But, come on! We have to call it what it is. You're a little oblivious or kind of an idiot. It's a fluctuating scale. Am I an idiot today or oblivious? Oblivious idiot. It just wiggles around, but, come on. Oh. I mean, I think that I'd be murdered by Banjo if I laid a finger on you. But let's set that aside for now. Banjo decided to confess his feelings, but she unexpectedly rejected him. Now things between you two are awkward. Yeah. Well, the reason for Banjo avoiding you is obvious. The way you turned him down makes it naturally hard for him to talk to you. I nodded in agreement. He decided to join the drama because he's still fixated on you and hasn't given up. That's an easy one. As someone who knows what fixations are, sir. What got me stumped is how lax his acting was in the drama with me. He lose all motivation. Oh, maybe he might be stopping himself from getting any more points. That's why he doesn't seem so motivated. What's up with that? It's because he wants to stay here with me. He said he won't cooperate with me in returning, and, I want his help. You have to date him? No, we didn't go that far. Listen! I can't blame Futami for jumping to that conclusion because I feel like Futami would absolutely be that person to be like, if you want to go back, you have to date me. Like, because we know he's a little psycho. But Mose's not that creepy. He said that he wants me to see him as a man. He was holding back. How cute. Well, look, it's still one hell of a way to get your attention. And that's real passion. Passion? I just don't think now is the right time for that. Romance isn't about logic. Sometimes you just can't hold back your emotions. And Banjo's been your friend for as long as you can remember, right? I initially mistook him for your boyfriend. He's always looking to help you and protect you. He also saved up points because you wanted it. However, you eventually told him you can't see him as a romantic interest, and that you still want him to help you get back home. His desperation makes sense. Should I apologize to him? Men aren't always that simple. If you were to apologize to him now, he'd feel even more hurt. There's no easy way around this. It'd be different if you chose to date Banjo, but there's no chance in hell, right? Not that there's no chance, but I don't understand it. I don't think I could talk to Tomose right now. Hey, you there? Sorry. Don't worry about it. It's a lot to think about. All I can say is that you should consider things carefully and talk it over. Whether you want to keep being friends or you want to take things to the next level with Bonjo, you need to talk it out. It's all starting to make sense now. See why he wants to stay in this world, and I can see why his acting is slipping up. You being hard on him for it makes sense too. Can I just wait to return home instead of rushing into an answer? Why is he so fixated on staying here? Jose said we can't be lovers, and we can be lovers in this world, even if it's a lie. He could kiss me. Was that the only reason that he was so obsessed with Arcadia? I'd rather stay here than see me with someone else, but staying here puts us at risk of dying. He wants you all to himself here, but this place is dangerous. Staying here is too risky. Is there any other reason? There might be another reason he wants to stay. Tommy was thinking the same thing. I just kept my head down and thought about it. What other reason is there? Maybe, yeah. I wonder if Tomose was the sponsor. No. Listen, if we hadn't done Futami's route, all right, let's just take that and throw that out the window for right now. I still would have absolutely had that exact same laugh, and this exactly would have been like, no bullshit. There is no way. No. It would be genius, but no, because why? Again, finding that out first would be okay. Finding that out first would be kind of fucked up, but it'd be a ballsy move. All right, like purposely, like, yeah, Tomose's the safest one. Is he though? Shit. You know what I mean? And since there's kind of sort of not really a recommended route order, but you know what I mean. Tomose being one of the first characters that you really kind of should do, it's like, what the fuck? But again, knowing what we know about Futami, there's no way he was supposed to be done in the very beginning. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy it. And I could believe it if there was a second sponsor, which I think is I'm still on that because I hope that's what it is, because otherwise, what the fuck is Yobu hiding? Why? Who are you? What is going on with you, crazy motherfucker? You know what I mean? But let's say you did Futami's route before you went to any of the locked routes. So he's number 6, right? You do his route, he's the sponsor. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, shit, I didn't know. I didn't think, I figured one of the last ones were. And then you do whoever 7 is, 8, I would have assumed was Gyobu, and 9 being Haiji because I'm still on the sponsor, producer, whatever. I keep messing up sponsor and producer in my brain. But anyway, Haiji, producer, sponsor, whatever. And then you find out that then you go down Gyobu's route and you're like, well, okay, he's not the sponsor because we know Futami's, and then he's a second sponsor. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm expecting to happen. But then you can't have Tomose also be a sponsor. And also doing it in the first route, like that just, it would be kind of ballsy. But again, you know what I mean? You couldn't have Futami also be that would be weird. So that mere suggestion made me go pale. And now my thoughts wouldn't stop. I do find it interesting that, I think that they're putting oh my god, we're going to doubt Tomose, and it's like, you as the player are like, yeah, no bullshit. I don't believe this for a second. I didn't believe it in Futami's route for a hot second, even though they kept trying to tell you, and Futami himself told you, and I was like, no, you can't ruin the game like this. But I was in denial because I didn't want to ruin the damn game by having gone down a route second, a route that you could have potentially gone down first. You know what I mean? And I know I literally just said Tomose being the first route and finding out he's the sponsor is ballsy, but I don't think it's the same thing. It's different because you're like, as a person, when you first pick this up, you get here. Who was the safest fucking bet? No one's going to fight me and say Tomose. Tomose was the character and was like, yeah, no, Tomose's probably safe. Everybody else is sus, but Tomose, absolutely nothing sus about him. All right? Absolutely 100%. So having the character that you as the player instantly go, he's the safest because he's our best friend. We know him. We got here with him. There's no way. Being a sponsor, then you're like, well, that's a fucking bit. That's ballsy. Especially because that's most likely the route that you're thinking. First, because he's safest. Safest. The only reason I didn't shoot for Tomose first was because you gave me Iochi and Abana right off the bat that I could do, and I'm like, I love them both, so like, let's go see what happens. All right? I would have been more pissed off if we tried to get Tomose first, thinking safest route, got Futami and ruined, like, but like not by much, because high second round, whatever, but accidentally tripping over Futami first and him being the sponsor is like, that's not what your intention was. Your intention is Tomose should be the first because he's the safest bet and like whatever, there's not much going on there. So like, that's ballsy where like, Futami should be later, but you could go down him first and then you ruin the game. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's totally different thing, even though it's similar, but anyway. I doubt he's the producer. He's never shown a glimpse of that. But what about as the sponsor? Sponsors are in charge of bringing us here, and he said he wants to pretend we're together, even if it's a lie. I do like that they're throwing in the doubt here, but I don't know. It wasn't impossible. I realized that maybe he had it in him. I'd known Tomose for over a decade, and I'd never doubted whether or not he would ever lie to me. In that moment, I suspected Tomose. You know what, though, I find interesting, and another reason why, like, I absolutely don't believe that Tomose is a sponsor, because, again, we already know it's Futami. If there's a second one, there's definitely not going to be a third one, and there's no way they would give you both of them right off the bat, because that would just, okay, they might, but it's stupid. And it would literally, like, just, I'm already having issues with how they've done things with the game, and, like, how it kind of takes away and kind of, it doesn't ruin it. I know I say it ruins it. It doesn't ruin it, but it does take a lot out of it, and it does take away some of the fun, and it does, like, just, ruin's the best word I can think, but ruin makes it sound like the whole thing's shot, and, like, it's ruined, it's awful, we can totally have fun with the game still. I'm still having fun with the game, but it takes the wind out of your sails, and it just, you know, like, kicks you in the shins when you're like, you didn't structure this right. So if you had two sponsors and both of them are revealed and like potentially the first and second characters you accidentally trip over, that's really bad game design here. That's just bad. Okay? You know? So but I do find it interesting that Futami is the one being like, I don't know, like blah, 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 and pushing you in a way, almost guiding you to this. What if he's the sponsor? Oh my God. Doubting Tomose while he's over there like, because he is. And he's trying to fucking pull you into his pyramid. So that's kind of interesting. And again, it's little things like this. I don't like the fact we went down Futami's route second, but trying to look at it on the brightest side I possibly can, you get these little insights now with Futami, and you're like, oh, I mean, wait a minute. I don't think you'd have picked up, like, well, that's really shady that you're trying to make me doubt fucking Tomose. Because it's very subtle. Knowing now, you're like, oh, shady motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it is... I still would go back and not do Futami's route till later. Because I do think it takes away a lot. But the brightest point of this, having done that route accidentally and like, is now you can see some of like the shit that Futami does, and it's like, it is kind of interesting, and you can like creep a little bit deeper into him in these situations, because I don't think, to be honest, I don't know about anybody else, but him just having this conversation, I wouldn't have picked up on that and been like, well, that's really shady, because nothing he really said is shady there. Nothing in that conversation. Now we're like thinking Tomose could be the sponsor or whatever, and it's not a weird, creepy, like, it's not as in your face as Iochi being like, oh, or when you're talking about people have been here before. Yeah, right, Ibana? Where you're like, has Ibana been here before? Is that why we're going? Like, that was not subtle, okay? The things that we've seen in the last couple bits of, like, Futami saying certain things and doing things, you're like, that's kind of subtle if you kind of read underneath it. Like, if you're just playing it and you don't know what Futami is, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. It doesn't dawn on you. You know what I mean? Because it's done well. But now knowing, you're like, why would you want me to doubt Tomose? Huh? Trying to get me into your pyramid scheme, and the only person who's stopping you think because it's Tomose. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, mm-hmm. And maybe that's not their intention, but I'm reading into it, and I'm having fun with that at least, so whatever. Among the 9 cast members, who was the most trustworthy? Tomose. I thought I could trust everyone. No. I wanted to ignore everything about the traitor and just cooperate with everyone to return. That's valid, I could see that. But whenever there was a problem, the first person I would talk to was always Tomose. Tomose knew me well because we'd been together since we were small. There's no way I wouldn't trust him. Which, if Tomose were the sponsor or producer, that's brilliant. Again, as brilliant as putting someone in here that's pretending to be a child so that you're like, yeah, whatever. He's fine. He didn't do it. The cat didn't stab anyone. Cat sitting there with a bloody knife. You know what I mean? Like, you don't suspect the innocent animal, the cute little fucking fluffy bunny, or like the little kid, and they're all the fucking ones murdering you in fucking horror movies, okay? How many horror movies are there about possessed dolls? Alright, I'm just saying. Or like clowns? I mean, clowns are creepy to me, but like, I'm just saying, most people are like, clowns bring joy! Clowns stab you and lure you into the sewers! Okay? I'm just saying clowns are creepy. And if you're gonna put something, you're gonna put clowns, dolls, kids, stabby, because those are the least suspectable suspects. They're not the usual suspects. You know what I mean? They should be when you're in a horror movie. And usually if you're going into watching a horror movie, you know what to expect, kind of. But like, you know what I mean? So, but those are like when you're watching the people in a horror movie, it's like, it's the kid, obviously. I know it's the kid, but like they don't, because they're like, oh, Timmy's innocent and sweet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Like, there is a reason for that. There's a reason why those kind of things work in horror movies, because like, because seriously, if you're playing a game, like you're playing a murder mystery, you're not assuming the baby did it, but they might have, you know? But anyway. So of course, like Tomose being like, I trust him the most. Actually, having him be the shadiest one would be brilliant. But you already have the child, and we already know who the sponsor is. And if there's a second one, there's no way it's Tomose, because I would have to really, really, really sit here and think, like, what the fuck is wrong with the people who wrote this and coded it and planned this out if they made the 2 like right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't work, but Tomose would. But both of them, if there are 2 sponsors coming right off the bat, that doesn't work. Since coming here, Tomose felt different. We had our differences in opinion. We trusted each other, but those arguments created a large rift between us. Is she not aware what he was going to try to say? I mean, she knows now how he feels. Okay. But has she not pieced together, or never did piece together, like right before we were kidnapped, he was about to confess his feelings for me. Where he was about to, and now you're here, and like, this is a very stressful situation, and he might have snapped a little, kinda. Sort of, especially because the first thing you were thrown into this drama where he got to kiss you, and now his brain is like, well, I mean, first of all, you're in a very stressful situation, so you can understand if people go a little bit cuckoo, okay? And being in that drama where he got to kiss you, whatever, and then he's like, well, if you're not actually gonna, then I mean, he's already a little, under the stress and everything, so you can kind of see where him being like, yeah, no, I'm gonna stay here. That works. Even if it's fake. Cool beans. No? Not being the sponsor. We had our differences in opinion. We trusted each other, but those arguments created a large rift between us. Mose's lying in order to be with me. He's hiding that he's a sponsor. He's not, though, Jesus. It's not impossible. Mose was the one to say he wanted to be the lovers, even if it's a lie. If we stay here, we can be lovers in those dramas. And I can kiss you, too. Even if it's all a lie. It's better than just being your childhood friend. Because he was friend-zoned in the real world. I mean, again, I can absolutely see his thought process here, and it's not because he's the sponsor, so. And it's even better than returning home and you belonging to someone else. Being here is better for me. Mose said that he wants to stay here in Arcadia and that he won't cooperate in returning. Sorry, FDR. And again, if we had gotten Tomose first and they did this, I might have been like, interesting. I don't think that's the case, but that would be interesting. But like now it's like, well, you can't fucking cop out in a two spawn. Like, I would be very disappointed. I'm just saying. And again, I feel like if we had done this first, we hadn't gotten Futami, I might have been more into this idea, like, oh, I see what you're trying to do here, game. Like, that's an interesting path. You gotta have balls for doing that. I don't believe it, but like, oh, okay. You know. Now it's like, oh god, we're doing this again, and you're gonna try to convince me he's the sponsor, but we just did this with Futami's Run, and he was the sponsor, so you can't have both of them. And then like, and I just feel a little disappointed that they're doing this. Because again, the flow's not right here, but that's the game. But do you understand now? I can't cooperate with your return. Even if you call me selfish or a coward, this is my choice. It makes sense to think that Tomose is the sponsor and that he supports the producer. However, I wanted to believe in him. I didn't. Couldn't make assumptions. But when our emotions clashed and neither of us gave in, a question remained. I can't leave things as they are. I mean, I don't necessarily... I'm a little like, ugh, about her doubting him thinking he's the sponsor, just because we know what we know. But for the route itself, just trying to pull away that would annoy me that they're doing, you know what I mean? That itself, like, I kind of like that they're making you doubt Tomose, even though you're like, yeah, there's no freaking way, but I didn't really think Utami was either, because I was really like, there's no way they would let you find out who the sponsor is right off the bat. But, you know, now that they've done that, I think all logic goes out the window with this one. Anyway. In any case, I can't think of romance right now. I only want to think about that after Tomose returns to his usual self. Besides, I need Tomose to tell me what he's thinking and why he's doing this. Otherwise, I won't be able to believe anything about him anymore. I should talk to him again to confirm. Even if he denies it, I still want to try. I do feel like this seems more like Tommy trying to push a wedge in here, because like, oh, I knew you. Whatever, like trying to get me into his pyramid scheme, you know? Like, if the strongest bond is two people who were besties that showed up here, and you kind of see an opening to kind of pull that apart, especially because we know Futami's like, yeah, I'll tell everyone I'm the producer, and then you'll accuse me, and then everyone will die, because that makes it more entertaining, then kind of pushing a little rift between Tomose and I is going to cause more drama in the dramas, probably. Maybe Tomose's not going to do as well. I'm not going to, there's going to be, someone's going to get a dead end or a punishment game or whatever, and that's making it more interesting, right? So you could kind of see Utami's motivations for not really, like, not necessarily being like, do you think he's the sponsor? But like letting us get there and just kind of sowing those seeds, you know? I had an unknown, unrecognizable anxiety. The worry I'd felt since talking to Futami had grown and spread even further. I thought I knew Tomose, but I realized that I didn't actually know him. I didn't feel confident enough to get rid of any doubt. So again, that's part of why I don't mind that Futami, we did him for. I do mind, but like, this makes it, at least this is kind of interesting, the good thing to pull out of it. The good part of that is now we can see all these little sneaky things. When I went to the living room, Tomose was there reading an electronic paper display. It's probably a library book. Based on how bright it was about time for the team to clean. I could have killed time until then. Tomose heard my footsteps and looked up, but went back to his book when he saw me. He usually says hi to me. I knew why he was doing it, but it still hurt to be ignored. I prepared myself and decided to talk to Tomose. Tomose, there's something I want to talk about. Can you talk right now? It would be awkward here, so how about we go to my room? Are you sure you want to be alone with me? It's fine. Talking is normal, right? I'm in my room. Things aren't normal right now, right? Maybe, but look, we can't talk. We can talk here, but you have to tell me the truth. I always tell you the truth. Hey, I want to ask about the Otherworld stream. Let's set everything else aside for now. Mose turned off his display in silence. He hadn't said anything, but he looked intent on answering me. Mose, do you agree with Do you like Arcadia? Do you agree with the Otherworld stream? I think do you like Arcadia is kind of obvious. Like, do you like Arcadia? Because like we already know he does. I feel like he's kind of already made that clear. Do you agree with the stream? Does he agree? Well, okay. So he said, like, I'll do whatever in the streams, and especially with the romance ones, because whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean he agrees with them. He likes being here because he can be with us. And if we're trying to get to the bottom right now, questioning him, like, oh, trying to suss out if he's the sponsor, why would we ask, do you like Arcadia? Because that's just general, hey, you like it here? We'd be like, do you agree with the Otherworld stream? Do you agree with the political radicals? Like, you like the color blue? You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to suss out something, this is more, like, I'm gonna go with this. We don't really need to use the guy. I mean, we can, but, like, we don't really need to, because it doesn't matter, so. Do you agree with the Otherworld stream? Do you think what the producer is doing is right? Yeah, okay, see, this is sussing it out. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't agree with murder. But you want to stay here. Isn't that a contradiction? No. If any member of the cast is about to drop out, I intend to help them as long as they aren't the traitor. Oh, really? Is that why you're saving up points? And that has nothing to do with the points. That's just my stance on all this. Oh. From what I hear, it doesn't seem like Tomose could be the producer. Then what are you going to do from now on? Aren't you going to save up your own points? Forget about us for now. How can I forget about us? Tomose instantly became irritated. It was obvious. Well, if we have to compartmentalize, I don't feel like voluntarily saving up points. I'm allowed to do that, aren't I? Yeah, but he did say that he didn't want to go back as soon as possible, so I guess that would make sense. Tomose, do you like acting in dramas? Is there a wish you want granted? Both of these are okay. Is there a wish you want? I mean, that's kind of... Is there something that you want? But, again, that's like... But do you like the color blue? That seems very simple compared to, do you like acting in dramas? Do you like acting in these? You know what I mean? Because that almost sounds like a suspicious question. Like, you're the producer or the sponsor. Do you like acting in these? But I mean, at the same time, it's Tomose. He's a drama student. So I would assume that's a yes. And then, is there a wish you want granted? Is like, kind of like acting. Is there something you're working toward to save points? But he's already said he doesn't care about saving points. So I don't think that this is really going to get us anywhere. I'm going to go with you acting dramas. Ooh, that one was right. I'm guessing the other one wasn't? Hold on. I want to see something. Oh, so you don't always get points for the right... And so, when we did Iochi, and I was, like, choosing things, and I wasn't getting the little flowery things, I was like, oh, okay. Maybe that tells you if you're going down a different path in the flowchart. But there's only one ending for each character, so I'm not sure what the point of that is. Because this in the guide says, do you agree with the Otherworld stream? So we chose the right thing. Well, whatever, I mean... Anyway, do you like acting in dramas? You don't hate acting, do you? Why would you ask me that? Because you've been so passive in the dramas lately. Oh, that's what you meant. I like acting. I don't mind being evaluated on a point system. I think acting in the dramas here is good for me. Good. Well, that's how he thinks of them. I feel so depressed when it's my turn. But it's complicated. I'm glad you don't hate acting. I mean, we were like, good, he thinks it's good. Yeah, because he's getting acting practice. He's a drama student. He wants to be an actor. So, like, well, he's making the most of it. I guess, in a weird way. Why? I like watching you act, but I don't want to watch the dramas in this world. I want to watch you when we return home. He's blushing. We don't know when we can return, though. Yeah, but I took a deep breath and confirmed that we were the only ones in the living room. Then I asked him, there's one last thing I want to ask. What? Mose, you aren't the sponsor, are you? Oh, I can't believe she's straight up. He's like, what the fuck? Mose was quiet. He said nothing and didn't look me in the eye. I didn't know how much time had passed, but all I got in response was a laugh mixed with a sigh. Why is he laughing? Mose stood up without answering me and slowly walked toward me. Something about it scared me, so I backed away. Are you mad? I knew it wasn't a good question, but I wanted to know. You could just say you're not, but I just don't know what you're thinking anymore, Tomose. I don't know either. I don't know what I want or what I should do. I was going to say what I should want, and I can't, but it was should do, and I was like, fuck, I read that wrong. How can I make you believe me? What can I do so you won't doubt me? Right now, I don't know anything. The weird part is he's smiling at us as he's saying that. Tomose looked away. In that moment, I knew that I shouldn't have asked that question. The more you pull away, the more I want you. Then we should just throw ourselves at him, and then he won't want me anymore, and then our problem will be solved. I don't want to let you go for even a moment. This is getting spicy. I never want to see you whisper words of love to anyone. I don't care if it's for a drama. What should I do with that? How would I even know? No matter what I say, you don't respond. Now you suspect me. You hate me. You know where I went wrong. Looked like he was in pain, but he also looked angry. Never seen Tomose like this, and I was at a loss of words. I don't know, saying, sorry to interrupt. After hearing that voice, I noticed Futami and Gyobu had entered the living room. It was one of them, anyway. I wondered how much they'd heard. They were probably there to clean, but considering the situation... Your argument got so heated that you didn't even notice us coming. Banjo, how about you calm down for a bit? This has nothing to do with you. Leave me alone. I can't do that. If you're her best friend, why can't you see that Seina's afraid of you? Oh, I just realized that I had tensed up and was backing away. And then this is kind of interesting again, knowing what we know about Futami, being like, and he's like, yeah, she's afraid of you. My God, like, oh, you know what could protect you. You should become a sponsor. No, I'm not afraid. Just never seen Tomose this mad. What's going on? Some lovers' quarrel? Get a room, you two. Shut up. Sina, the three of us will clean today, so you can go back to your room. Banjo, Gyobu, and I will handle everything. I thought he was talking to Banjo and I can't read today, guys. I don't know, anyway. And I'll listen once we're done cleaning. That's final. Tommy was being considerate. I must have looked so scared. Would it have been right if I went to my room? Would it have been right to keep my distance while Tomose was still angry? I spoke to Tomose because I wanted to believe in him. But that wasn't what happened in the end. I'd never seen Tomose that mad before. I had to apologize. Although it would be really interesting, actually, if Gyobu is also a sponsor, because do you think that Gyobu and Futami know about each other, and then they're both on the same team, and, like, that's strange, but I had to apologize. I knew it, but the way Futami and Gyobu were looking at me made me hesitate. Doing in front of Futami and Gyobu seems... And don't run away. You've run away from my feelings all this time. And there's nowhere to run anymore. That sounds threatening. I'm not opposed to it. I kind of like the angry, like, what? You're getting a little aggressive. I don't know, coming into it. Again, Tomase's not my favorite, but, like, I'm not mad about the way they're doing this, so. Tomase grabbed my left arm and pulled me close so that I couldn't run away. I won't run away, but let's talk in my room. I don't want to worry everyone else. Everyone else has nothing to do with it. This is between you and me. Angry face. Mose's fingers dug into my arm. I gestured that it hurt, but he didn't care at all. It's kind of funny because he is literally losing his marbles. He's very aggressive and crazy. All right. See, here's the thing. if he came out, I'm the sponsor because I'm dark and crazy inside, I'd believe this coming from him. From Futami, you're like, where the fuck did this come from? You just all of a sudden stabbed yourself, and I'm supposed to believe you know what I'm saying? The build up in Tomose, if Tomose were to come out and have that revelation, like, oh, I'm a little dark and broody, you're like, yeah, I get that. You know, I feel like they could have done a little more build up with Futami, like a little more like dark shadows crossed his face, or like whatever, a little more him saying things that you're like, that seems out of character for him. Where when he comes out as being like, I'm dark and angsty, you're like, you did kind of foreshadow that. But I just don't feel like we got that. Even here, where he's like, now knowing what we know about him, he's saying these things, and you're like, I can read into what you're saying and see you again trying to con me into your pyramid scheme over here of being a sponsor. But it's done in such a way that only if you know what you know about Futami would you realize that, because otherwise it's like, oh, Futami's just being a bro. So, like, I don't know if that's they wrote Futami so well that he's really good at hiding everything, or they didn't write him well enough because it's hiding everything and you don't get any kind of anything going on where you're like, you know what, something about this is strange. I'm getting a vibe here and I don't know what it is. Where then later when it comes out, you're like, that's what that vibe was. You know what I mean? I feel like you should have gotten some kind of subtle vibe, but you're getting nothing. So it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Could just be me. I don't know. There you go, putting everyone else before me again. That's not what I meant. What do you mean, then? Do you honestly feel like you can just leave me alone because you can always deal with me later? Mose's voice was rough, and he looked serious as our gazes clashed. Well, you can't. Tomose, thought only of you. I believed only in you. I've always been by your side. Why are you doubting me now? Is he gonna force a kiss on us? I think he is! Look at this CG, it's crazy. Also, oh my god, are you sucking my air out of my lungs? Jesus. My words were sealed away, and my breath found no escape. In my confusion, I tried to push Tomose away, but he pulled me in close. His lips met mine, and I was engulfed by his searing kiss. This is wildly inappropriate, sir! There is a thing called consent, and you didn't get it, but also, I'm not mad about it. Because, like, shit! This is Tomose's twist. He is, like, angry and, like, just grabby. I was not expecting that from you. I mean, over the last, like, part, when we've seen him being angry, then yes, I'm not surprised about this, but, like, overall, yeah, I would have thought you'd just be overprotective and moody and bitchy and like, oh, whatever, you don't think of me and I'm gonna go sulk in a corner, but instead you're like, think of me, goddammit, and shove me against a wall and shove your tongue down my throat. Like, well, sir? Hello? I'm not into it. Like, I don't know. Like, okay. Alright, bravo. Did the childhood friend thing a little different here. I'm not gonna... Why? Tommy and Gyobu are here! I'm not moaning for him, though. Like, damn. I slapped Tomose's cheek with my free hand, and he finally let me go. I glared at Tomose. Why did you do that? It's insane to force yourself onto me, in front of others, too! You know what? Good for us for standing up for ourselves. We already did it in a drama. Everyone saw it. It's too late for that. That's not what I meant! My emotions flipped. Tomose's kiss transferred his emotions to me. But I felt nothing besides anger when I saw his red and swollen cheek. Neither of us could talk anymore. I can't talk like this! I shook myself free of Tomose's grasp and quickly headed to my room. I heard Gyobu laughing from behind me. He would. That was loud. It looks painful, too. You weren't acting right. That was real. Seriously, shut up, Gyobu. And this is why, can you not see why between Futami and Gyobu seems the most fucking suspicious? So what the fuck, if he's not actually a sponsor, if there's not two, what is his deal? Because he is literally fucking insane. Anyway, this is the perfect place to end it, but I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.